for Auburn to be making it to the playoffs in general. But the fact that we beat A&M, and that was a very good game. I don't care what anyone says. That game almost gave me a heart attack, honestly. But yeah, and then there's the Georgia and Georgia A&M game. That game almost gave me a heart attack as well. But Ohio State knocked the unhealthy Tennessee team out of the playoffs. Texas was my last hope. Georgia, how do you lose to Notre Dame? I was in Notre Dame. How do you lose to Ohio State? I was rooting for y'all. Like, what the hell happened for crying out loud? Um, but I also like, yeah. But so hello, 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 hello. Welcome back to Sassy Sun Bell. My name is Breezy, and this is, and I am a sassy Southern Belle. I was raised on Southern sass and class, and a little bit of Southern grace. um, but anyway, if you're new here, hit that like button, ring that bell for notifications. Also, please subscribe. Help a girl out. It has been a busy, busy time. I know it's been a while since I posted. So here's the thing. If you're new, here's the thing. I hate Ohio State with a passion. I hate them as much as I do Alabama fans. And this is what I tell people: day you see me root for Ohio State is the day you see me root for Alabama. It's the day I become an Alabama fan. Not happening in this lifetime, and I'm just telling you that now. But I'm an Auburn fan through and through. If you can't tell by my shirt. And like I said, I am a Southern girl. I was born and raised in Alabama, so we picked our team at a very young age, much like anybody who lives in the state. For people from Tennessee, it is um the Vols. For people from Texas, it's either the Longhorns or the Aggies. But oh my gosh, like I was so happy when Alabama did not make the playoffs. So your girl was a very happy camper. I know a lot of people like, especially like my favorite thing after Alabama loses is to read the comments on Facebook, and I'm like, how's that feel? Now you see how us Auburn fans felt. We all knew Auburn. It was a long shot for Auburn to be making it to the playoffs in general, but the fact that we beat A&M, and that was a very good game. I don't care what anyone says. That game almost gave me a heart attack, honestly. But yeah, and then there's the Georgia and Georgia A&M game. That game almost gave me a heart attack as well. But Ohio State knocked the unhealthy Tennessee team out of the playoffs. Texas was my last hope. Georgia, how do you lose to Notre Dame? I was in Notre Dame. How do you lose to Ohio State? I was rooting for y'all. Like, what the hell happened for crying out loud? Um, but I also like, yeah. But so much has been going on here lately. I want to start off with the election is finally over. And for those of you that comment anything political, let's not. Let's keep this a safe place and let's keep it fun. I did watch the Hillbilly Elegy movie, and oh my gosh. When I say I have much respect for JD Vance, I do, because I like that movie hit home for me. And everything, and he is a proof of the American dream. He is living proof of that right now. He shows that you can come from absolutely nothing and still and make it to where you want to be somebody. And he had the love of a grandparent, for crying out loud. And kudos to his mom. 10 years sober, like JD Vance's story is a story that hits for all of us. So put all politics aside on that one. I don't care what you feel like about look. Here's the thing: your politics is your politics at the end of the day. But look at JD Vance's story and how far he came, for crying out loud. And I didn't watch the inauguration. You see one inauguration, you see them all. But I kept seeing these clips of him and his kids and his wife. Oh my! And I'm like, I just like how they're just letting them be children at the end of the day, and we don't see that very often. and everything. But the national championship game was the same day as well, so I had to make a choice, and I actually had a staff meeting that night at work, so I had to make my choice, and I was watching that game after my staff meeting. So I was not very happy. I wanted Ohio State to lose. I don't like Ohio State. Like I said, the day I root for Ohio State is the day I become an Alabama fan. And I'm not gonna do that. So War Eagle. Yep, Auburn fan I hear. So just saying. But anyway, it got thinking though, like for all of us who grew up with grandparents and had to live with them, because I had to live with my grandparents for most of my childhood, and it shaped me into the person I am today. They instilled in me manners that children don't have today. I see so many children that are so rude to their parents that that they use like this thing called gentle parenting. And here's the thing. I'm not saying that doesn't work, but and everything. I'm not a parent. I'm an aunt, so I'm not going to give much on that. But like my grandparents instilled in me how to say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, thank you, no, you're welcome, hold the door, no, sir, no, ma'am. Manners, like basically southern hospitality. And I did will admit, I did get that southern sass. So hence the name, Sassy Southern Belle. But it's also interesting to see that people like it amazes me. Like so here's the thing. I work right now and I'm at this restaurant here in Murfreesboro called Marina's on the Square. And I also work in this coffee shop called Oflo here in Murfreesboro. Um and when I see a kid come in with manners, I'm just like and they tell me thank you, yes ma'am, and all of that, and I'm like, I just really want to hug your parent right now. Because it makes my heart so happy seeing a kid with manners, and you don't see that often, and I don't think people truly understand that. But like, I remember like my favorite thing to do growing up. So on Gates Hill, we were at the very top of this hill. I remember it because we called it like Little Gates Hill because I had cousins on to it. I had cousins there. It was my grandparents, my sister, and I. It was my grandpa, my little papa, and then on top of the hill we had my aunt, uncle, and two more cousins. So we were all like a little tight knit. On my bio dad side of the family, we don't talk anymore. That's a different story for a different day. But I'm saying is like being like raised in like that with my grandparents. Like I don't know. Honestly, it's like I wouldn't have if I could go back and do it all over again. I don't know. But I think being raised by my grandparents taught me how to be a little like how to be me, like how to be respectful to adults, and what and I admit I had to grow up fast. I will admit that, but like I love the fact that they instilled manners in me from a very young age. And my grandma, my mama, she just passed away this past year. Rest in peace. One of the hardest days of my life, and but I knew it was coming. That's the thing. So even though I knew it was coming, it still hurts me, especially because she did raise me for most of my childhood. So it's like things like that hit hard for you. And when I and everything, and I just want to make her proud. I want to make her proud. I want to make my little pawpaw proud, and everything else. So, but like going back to the Hillbilly Elegy and how JD Vance's grandma, who was struggling, took her own grandson in to help to raise him. That grandma, I loved Mama. I loved Mama in that movie. She would be so proud of her son today and everything. But I think it just proves that. And I'll prove it. I said this once and I'll say it again. You are not the product of your environment. You cannot control the family you were born into, but you can control if you choose to keep living that life. I left home at 18, 3 days after I graduated. I've been on my own ever since. I found my unofficial adopted family a few years later. And that's my family. So when I say my mom, I'm talking about my unofficial adopted mom. Same thing with my dad. Um, and I have my two little brothers. I also have now my bio sister, and I have a bio mom. The point is, we are not the product of our family environment. We have a choice to get out and go make something for ourselves at the end of the day. And I don't think that's something a lot of people truly get. Um, but I knew at a young age that if I wanted to make something for myself, I had to get out of that bubble. I had to. And am I sassy? Maybe. Asking about I work with. I had somebody once describe me as a reverse Sour Patch Kid. But I'm also hardworking, determined, working toward goals, and always constantly working on my mental health because that is important. And that was something I was never really allowed to work on growing up because I was raised by a generation where we don't talk about our problems. We bottle it all up and we pretend it never happened. If you talked about mental health or seeking help, you were the crazy one. And I'm glad that stigma is not really a stigma anymore and that our mental health is super important. So please, if you feel like you're struggling, get help. It works wonder. It will help you so much. Because I have anxiety and depression, so this has actually been really good for me, honestly. These podcasts and honestly talking to a camera. Crazy, I know, but yeah. And honestly, this past week, I had to deal with my bio mom because I had to find out that my bio sister got married, and I went no contact with her years ago after she lied to me for another reason. That's water under the bridge. Water basically still rising, but we're not going to talk about for something. And there was other factors too, but I had to find out on social media that they got married. Now, finding out your sister got married, wouldn't you want to know about it? It still stings a little bit. Like I told her, like I finally responded, like you should have told me. She did not try to get a hold of me, wants to tell me, and thinking I did not want to talk to her, but someone should have told me, and I wanted. And if her life was back together, she got her life on track. Good. That's why I'm happy for her. But no one didn't tell me all of this. And having to find out like a family member got married through social media, you let alone like so close to your sister. Yeah. But being a sassy Southern belle, so much sass, so much class, is so much grace and everything else. And I think it's just amazing how it's interesting how we turn out in life. Like we don't really think about it. And so many things are coming back, like the aesthetics and everything else, and I'm loving it. And I also have me a TikTok now. I thought I would not get one. Don't worry, I got it before TikTok ban. So yeah. But I've got some new merch coming out as well. I'm working on a shirt, Sassy Sun Bell podcast shirt that I'm so excited for. I cannot wait to get it out once I figure out the design for it. But yeah, that's it for this episode. I will see y'all next time. Y'all have a great day.